Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. I hope you guys had a good week since the last time we were on because we didn't have a show on Friday. But I hope you guys had a good week last week. I hope you guys had a good start to the week this week. I know Monday is always like a hurdle to get through, but you made it. You're almost done. And then we're going to enjoy the show today. So, for those that don't know what the show is about, welcome to AnimeInkArt Live Talks, where we talk with different creators in the community about their journey in content creation and how we can support each other better in the community. So today we have very special guest, Alim Leggett. So they are from AlterEgoart, and they are the creator of the comic The Diary of Sweetpea. So definitely they're a writer, they're an artist, they're a comic book artist now. They have an amazing company, brand, comic, and we're definitely going to talk everything about Sweetpea and what's to come for them. So definitely let's bring them on the show and let's get it started. Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Glad to hear it. Besides the seasonal allergies, I'm doing good.
I know. I'm going to pray for both of us for the rest of the season, but definitely, I'm so glad to have you. Thank you for coming on the show. And of course. And hopefully your Monday's been good so far.
So far, so good.
It's great. So for people that don't know who you are, introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Alim Leggett. I am the owner, operator of AlterEgoart, and specifically for these purposes, AEA Comics.
Awesome. And definitely Midnight Comics is here to, show support for the stream today. So they're always so supportive, and I do appreciate them for that. And first I wanted to ask, what got you into art? Because you definitely have a long history of doing art way before, you started the comic and you were promoting the comic heavily with AlterEgoart.
Oh, yeah. So just pretty standard. I was one of the kids in the class that would draw and be in the drawing contest with everybody, and found out that I had a talent for painting. I did for a while, then kind of slipped away from all of it until the great reset of 2020 happened. The opportunity to, slow down enough to rediscover my passions outside of earning, punching the clock and getting the paycheck. So during that time, I got back into art. I got a couple of online courses for character drawings and things like that. And then I started just on a whim, went to Facebook and found some really great independent comic book groups. I know people inside of there, and found out how possible it is to, turn an idea into a physical manifestation. And here we are.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to also ask, for those that may not know what type of art styles you were doing, because I've seen different things. I've seen you do traditional art. I've seen you do a little bit of digital art. I've seen you do the painting, which you started with. So I definitely want people to know, you're new to this. You're not new to this. You're true to this.
Yeah, I like digital art, but I'm more comfortable with traditional mediums. It's just something about the texture, the textile feelings of canvas or some Bristol pads or something like that.
Oh, I saw that one. Yeah, that's the geisha one, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty big one. But
I think you said that was like the size of your dining room table almost, right?
My camera is not cooperating with me. I'm like from my computer right now, trying to get a dream. So forgive me.
It's okay, no problem.
Yeah, so for the comic book purposes, I have a team that I trust. I haven't ventured out into doing sequential art. It's something that I respect about that I'd rather leave it into the hands of somebody better equipped to deal with perspectives and just proper flow. things like that. Maybe one day I'll try something out. I do layouts, but haven't done any line art for comic shit. I did end up coloring out of necessity. I colored issue 2 of the Diary of Sweet Pea, and that came out really well, I think.
Yeah, it definitely did. And I wanted to ask, what was the inspiration for the Diary of Sweet Pea?
Well, it's a montage of different stories and ideas that I had, throughout my childhood into adulthood, and all centered on my children and my feelings as a father, and just the things that the youth in my area go through and things that I went through. So it's a pretty gritty and challenging story, but it deals with things that I feel mimics reality for some people.
No, yeah, that's definitely true. And from like what I saw, like our main character definitely goes through like different trials, even though it's like on a supernatural sense. It's like they're still trying to figure themselves out and like what to do and what not to do. But then they have other obstacles that's like reminds them like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. But they have their father figure to help them along the way. So for those that don't know about like the premise of Sweet Pea, if you can share like what the basic plot of the story is.
Okay, so you have alien species invades our dimension. This isn't the first time they've done this, but everywhere they go, they create this catalyst event that unleashes this kind of source energy out into that particular dimension, and then they harvest it. But for the first time ever, terrestrial life is absorbing that energy. It's supposed to just be an ambient thing. So, during this invasion and all this chaos happening, our character, Imani Williams, is absorbing this energy and changing and developing these powers that she doesn't really know or understand. They happen to her on a subconscious level, so they may help her, as you'll find out in this upcoming issue, it may hinder her as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to ask, like, what has been the journey when it comes to, because I saw, like, from the beginning, of Sweet Pea before, you really got it into development, got the artist, now we're, like, on issue 3, going on to issue 3, that you had, like, different concept art, like, for the main characters, for some of the villains and everything like that. So what was the process, like, creating like the idea for the characters to getting like the artists for the final product, like when you created the comic?
I wanted to make a character that could be kind of like attach themselves to the reader's hearts and sentimentality. So that's why I chose to go with Imani being the young, innocent, 14-year-old that he is, drawn with soft lines. And it's kind of like a Boondocks or a Trilogy to the artwork, because I admire those mediums, and I think they serve well to kind of like disorientate people. Where you got this kind of light cartoony art style, but these graphic scenes and deeper layers underneath.
Yeah, that I can definitely see that. I especially like in the comic, like when I see it, like just like the artist part of me as well, like just seeing like how the colors and like the lighting reflect different things that's happening like in the story. I think it's like a great detail that you added to it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm a stickler for colors. Like I love bright colors. I love vibrant colors, and I love putting a purpose to color. If I have to make some kind of like off the wall changes, like if you watch One Piece, Big Mom and Kaido might be the size of skyscrapers, right? Because like that's the opposing figure. It's an artistic freedom that they took to kind of communicate the scope of the challenge, right? So I try to keep that in mind. I take that same approach with the colors that I'm picking for each panel.
No, yeah, I can definitely see that. I like kind of like the illumination in some, or even like we're gonna definitely talk about the Kickstarter coming out, and you have a variety of different covers, and like each cover, like I can see like the different colors and the schemes, and like I feel like each one has a different meaning. So I just like how you guys do the art for the story.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, no problem. And I just wanted to congratulate you because I know it was probably like almost 2 years ago at this point when you were a nominee for the Heroic Awards and you got to the Elite Eight. So I wanted to ask, how did that feel? Not only to be nominated for something that like you're working on, like your comic, amongst other people that's been doing it for a while, but to get to the Elite Eight.
It was a shock every time. I thought I was going to lose out round. We made it. I think it was I think over 120 different books and some very well established titles, and the love of the community brought me up to the semifinals. So that was a huge win. I actually went out to C2E2 to celebrate that and be present at the award ceremony.
Yeah, I think I saw that as well. And I definitely wanted to talk about it because it's like that's definitely like a win. Is definitely like your hard work. Like you don't know who's watching, so I feel like that was definitely like a thing of like, oh, somebody's watching this process.
Absolutely, it's hard sometimes because you don't always people. Look at something and they like it, but they don't press like, so you never know that that interaction is there. But then you see them and they say, "I see what you're doing. Keep it up. Keep up the good work," and things like that. So that was kind of that moment for me with the Heroic Awards. It's not always about necessarily how many likes and reshares that you get on any particular post or whatever, but like you say, you never know who's watching and who's appreciating what you're doing. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to ask, how has it been? Because I think for like the past 3 years almost, you've been, once you established, like once you had like the first comic and like the second comic was out, you started going to different like comic showcases and like conventions. So I wanted to ask, what were some of the things that you like? What was the experience like when you like your first convention or even like DreamCon to now? In terms of like promoting your comic, because one thing like how you were promoting online, then there's another thing when you're meeting in person. Like how did that help you navigate how you wanted to promote Sweet Pea?
Wow, it's like night and day. I'll say that much. If I could just spend all of my time getting out in front of people face to face, I would rather love to do that than promote online, just because it's more natural to me.
Yeah.
Like once I've set aside the time, it feels like I never really set the time aside for the online work. But when I'm out at a convention or I'm in a place, I'm there, I'm completely present, and I'm able to, meet people and interact with people, feel their energy and their, like their excitement and have conversations. And that's, like, I love that. I'm still working on the online marketing. That's definitely, I love being amongst the people and then, like in the moment.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think it's definitely for anybody that's like wants to make a comic or do art. I think like that's like a step that everybody should take, even if you don't get to do it as often, like at least once or twice. Because I feel like the experience you get is like greater in some senses as opposed to like online when you're interacting with people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the just like the networking opportunity of meeting people face to face. My first convention was at the Great Media Comic Con, which is it was in like a small town community center. Maybe like 50 or 60 people came through all weekend, but I got to meet people. One of the people that I got to meet was Frank Percy, who's a former Marvel artist. He's actually going to be featured in the Kickstarter under a tier. He's going to be doing sketch covers inside of one of the tiers. But like just that, and then like of course like going all the way up to DreamCon, where it's just like DreamCon is a dream. You get, you meet so many people there, so many opportunities, and it's just like massive crowds. Everybody's there to support and show love. It's just an amazing experience. Absolutely.
Definitely. And I definitely want to talk about that because how you felt not only getting to interact with Frank Percy and Mark McKenna, but you also got to like get some lessons from Frank Percy as well. And not only that, you have a variant cover with Mark McKenna, and I believe now you said with Frank Percy. So, how do you feel about all of that? Just from meeting them and then it extending to where it is. Like, how do you even feel about?
It's mind blowing. You know, I feel blessed. Maybe I'm spoiled, but for me, it feels like the indie community
Yeah,
is so welcoming and you know like warm. It doesn't. I don't think there's a lot of places, a lot of semi-professional places where someone that's just starting out can meet and be able to work with somebody with 40 plus years of experience, you know, like well established on big titles and things like that. And just willing to sit down and, hey, you need a hand, like let me show you how to do this sketching, or let me show you these different art tools that you may not be using to do and how they work, and just to kind of go off track for a little bit. But
yeah,
inking traditionally is an absolute art form. You know,
yeah,
like digital is one thing, but when you have to put like masking over top of a certain piece and bring out a toothbrush to get a certain effect on
yeah,
it, like, write out this and scrape this piece of paper, you might, if you got to correct, then you have to like cut a shape out of a blank page and put it over top and draw over that. It's just so much goes into it that like it's really amazing to see. So yeah, like that, it's just been an amazing experience to be able to have met the people that I've been able to meet. And it's not always just them. Like I got fellow creators that just started around the same time that I've started or slightly before that have also been like Midnight Comics, who's been, you know, like a great help and willing to share information. And, you know, like that's sometimes it's hard to come by. A lot of people still live by the game is to be sold, not told. But you know, so it's great to see people that's willing to make space for you to win as well as them.
yeah, definitely. And I was gonna ask, like, not even just from those two that you got the help and advice from, but like from different creators. What is some like tidbits or advice that you've gotten from any of them that's helped you further like your goal for alter ego arts and specifically the comic?
Some advice that I got from them to help me further my
Yeah.
goals.
Hmm.
Be consistent. Consistency, you know, like is super important. Stay engaged with the community. Try to foster a community to begin with, and just make time for what's important to you. The most important thing that I've learned isn't really advice that they give me, but just something that I've noticed from watching them is that this dream that I've had of taking art into a level where it's a sustainable, you know, practice where I can, you know, like build a life around it is a possibility. So I think that's the most important lesson that I learned. You know, like there is a way for me to do this and be able to take care of all of my life responsibilities and do something that I love to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. And it's definitely amazing to see like, you know, the growth and everything that you've been doing as well. And I wanted to touch back into the story because our main character, has their father that helps them, navigate, life per se in this crazy world of the story. So I want to ask, because you're also a dad as well. So what type of like influences or things that you use when it comes to like the story, like building out like how the story is going to go, considering your experience as a father or just different experiences that go into the comic?
Well, it's a lot of, I think that, well, I tell my kids all the time that they're much better teenagers than I was. I got some horror stories, and people that I grew up with also the same, and I'm sure that they have their stories that I haven't learned yet. And I know that there's a lot of kids their age that from watching the news and word on the streets, it's a lot going on out there. So all that fear and anxiety kind of presents itself inside of this story and bleeds out into it. Like because you want your kids to be well off and protected in the world, but you also know, and you want them to stay a child as long as possible, but they also have to be prepared to go out into the world without you one day. And it's a cold world a lot of times, and it's a hard world almost all the time. You just gotta find your little safe havens and everything like that. But it's a competitive place, so that fear kind of bleeds out into the page. How will my daughter be, or how will my sons be out in the world where they're faced with whatever they're going to be faced with, and will I be the little voice inside of the back of their head when they do things? And how much will that little voice matter, once they're out there?
No, yeah. I definitely understand. But I think that helps, and I wanted to ask, like, how does your kids or your family feels about, like, about the story? Like,
they're very supportive. My kids, they just all want to be inside of the book. What you want to do with me? All at once. Give me some time. Different title altogether. We're getting kind of crowded in the diary. So, but they're very supportive. I don't know how much they really understand. We never really talk about. I know that it was kind of a shock to some people that it's really like a high in the age teens. Most people that don't really read comic books just think comic books is all Archie comics and kids.
Yeah.
The ratings go way up there, all the way to MA, and I don't think I'm quite there, but I'm not exactly rated G either. So kind of like a PG title or something like that. So, but the love is there and the support is there. I'm just trying to find. I want to find the true comic book fans and find my way into them and try to figure out how to present, because that's the real test to me. Not getting the family support, but more so earning the respect of the real comic book fan community.
No, yeah, definitely, of course. And I definitely want to talk about the Kickstarter that's coming up soon. It's coming up on the 25th, I believe. And definitely for those that want to support, let them know what's coming when it comes to the Kickstarter. But I wanted to talk about the covers that will be available at the Kickstarter, because I believe there's 6 of them. So I want you to talk about the cover.
Okay, yeah. So, we got a sketch cover. So if anybody wants to flex their own artistic talent and create whatever you want, that's an option for you. Just it has all the dressings on it and everything like that. And then you can, if you want Godzilla fighting, your own personal character, you can do that, right? Then we have my personal favorite cover is my interior artist. He always does a cover for me, and then we have a coloring contest to see who's going to be whose cover is going to end up on there. So this year it was me, the interior colorist, and all against each other, and Yusuf still won. So I hired professional help. We still got beat out, but no, next year, we're going to take them down. So, but yeah, it came out great. He did a great job. All credits to him. And that one was actually so good that I chose to make that the Kickstarter exclusive holographic cover, which is going to, like, once you see it, it's going to blow your mind. I think just the way that that kind of monotone, but the shades are different. Like, it's really like high energy cover. So I think you're going to love that. It's definitely going to be worth checking out in the holochrome. And we also have J. Travis Smith, who has a lot of pro credits, including IDW and a bunch of other ones that I can't remember right now. Did a cover for me that I tasked him to go away from the art style that's inside of the book and give me something a little more golden age, traditional, like a classic comic book feel. I think he really nailed that one. And then you have the Mark McKenna, you know, working for Marvel. And I was a 4-year-old running, crawling around in Pampers. Everything from Darth Vader, Spider-Man, and you know, like everything in between. And you know, he did a sweetpea cover for me with a full team. Traditionally done. I might have the original around here somewhere. It's not far, but yeah, I actually have that, you know, to hang up on my wall when I get a frame for it, and that's amazing because you know, like I did a bad job of reading the credits growing. I didn't really care about who was doing it. I just enjoy it, you know, for the finished product that it is. But I had once I looked through his you know, his body of work, a lot of books he had. I used to carry around with me in my book bag, and you know, now we work.
No, yeah, I could hear the excitement because I think I had watched the like unboxing that you did, and you're just like,
yeah, that was like, I couldn't believe it, you know, that actually happened, man. That's a thing that happened. And it wasn't even like a big giant convention or anything. That was my second year out at the Great Media Comic Con. Stopped, talked for a little while, you know, I showed them what I was working on. Great, looks good. I like it. You know, hit me up and maybe we could, you know, I could do something for you one day. And here we are.
yeah, of course. And I wanted to talk about like, you know, for you have like this thing for the amount of different like for the pre-launch before the Kickstarter, and you have like different tiers like, you know, 50 backers, 100, 200, 300, 400, and what are some of the rewards. So if you want to talk about it, I think it's like a cool thing, and like you have like different types of rewards that people can get if they support.
Yeah, so that category is all about the followers of the pre-launch for the first 2 tiers of it. Right now, I think we're at 31. So hopefully we can get up past 50 before March 25th, and that'll automatically unlock the first reward, which is mobile wallpaper. And then those, whatever number we're at, whether we make the 50 or not, those account towards the backer goals. So and right now, if we was to get 20 backers, then that will be free to everybody. Okay. And that's following, mind you, is absolutely free to do. All it is click and notify for the Kickstarter. Backers, it doesn't matter if you only put $1 in a tip jar. You know, you're still helping add value to the campaign for the people that want that value. So it's a nice thing to do. At 100, it'll be a desktop wallpaper. And then from there, it's backers only, only count. But there's things like, I think it goes all the way up to a digital side-by-side where you actually have the script page and then the interior page. So you can see side-by-side, okay, these were the instructions for this panel and this is how it looks. Because I really like, everybody that I talk to in person, you know, most of them is like, yeah, my kid loves comic books. Like, they're like, okay, well, look, this, if your kid loves comics and they have an idea, because I used to have ideas for books, but nobody ever told me that I could make books like my little black self could make comic books. Right? Or like possibly one day cartoons or, you know, live action, whatever, right? These are just people like you and me. So my thing is I want to show people that it's possible. So even like I've done it at no charge for myself, just people, you got to pay the guys that's going to do all the work. But for my part, I don't mind helping somebody that doesn't know that they can do it, realize that they can do it, and, you know, like in my free time or whatever. So, yes, that's a part of the Kickstarter. So you can have that side by side. I think the first draft of the script is also another one, a reward. But I think that side by side is a big one, and it's not really that hard to get. Like I said, only a dollar per person will make that accessible for everybody.
Okay. I mean, there's definitely things that you said in there that I feel like, hey, listen, guys, just support. Like, if you want this, you love the story, if you want to see more of it, definitely please, like, please support it when it comes out. It's only like 2 days away when it comes out. And for those that want to read the volumes that you have, before, the Kickstarter and, and for anticipation for that, where can they buy the book?
Oh man, this is something that I've struggled with, right? Because I'm more of an in-person kind of guy. But
Yeah.
if you don't want to wait for the Kickstarter, then you can just find me on Facebook or Instagram under sweetpea comic or alter ego arts. Shoot me an inbox, and we'll make it happen one way or the other. But they all will be available on the Kickstarter as well in March.
Okay, that's awesome. And one question that I asked on the show is about support in the blurred/black community. I asked, what do we do well to, support each other or uplift one another so far in the community, and what can we do better just to be more, supportive or, work together in the community. This is a question I asked because everybody has a different answer depending on what they do in the community.
Yeah. So things like this, is a huge show. I think all of the different social media gatherings that we have, different groups, whether it be nerd groups, Black independent comic groups, and everything like that, those all help. We have one thing that I think that we can do better, and the support in person. Again, if you have not been to a Black convention specifically, you should go there because people come with the intentions of supporting all weekend long and really feel it there and in person. I think we can do better is we have to learn. For me as a creator, I think creators need to learn each other's work a little more, especially the things that you like, so you can be able to talk a little bit more. And Midnight Comics does a great job of fostering this, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Able to speak with some form of authority about other people's work and just, just an excitement and passion. And as the fans and the people that want to see things, grow and build and our own stories being told and respected, because we're the culture, we're the ones that can make things move. Anime is what it is in pop culture right now, I think, because we made it like that. We made it cool. Right? I'm not going to say that it wasn't consumed before, but we're the ones that made it cool. And to a certain extent, all pop culture is like that. So we gotta start spreading the word individually. There's no reason that people shouldn't be talking about Acolyte from Concrete Comics or the antagonist with Godhood Comics. No reason that people shouldn't be talking about Soul and Amani from Midnight Comics. No reason that people shouldn't be talking about Tuskegee Heirs and the Search for Sadaka and the things that they have going on in Impound, 615, and all these other guys that are putting in work and creating really, great, well thought out and professionally presented, I might add, stories. I know people don't know them and they might not know what you're talking about, but that's how people learn those things. That's how like a webtoon depends on people. It picks up traction once people start talking about it. Once it starts entering those groups that we got in social media and things like that. Oh, it was Tower of God. All right, I got it. Let me check that out.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, definitely. That's why I like to ask this question. I feel like I never had a bad answer to the question. I feel like everybody, it gets me to see, like, because I feel like a lot of people say it in a different way, but we kind of like some people have the same ideas. There's like a new perspective. It's just nice to see people actually like talking about it. You know, like they're like not being afraid or feeling like I'm gonna get judged for like, having an opinion. Because I know when I first started asking the question, people were like nervous. They were just like, "Am I gonna get canceled?" I'm like, "No, like no, you're not gonna you're not gonna get canceled."
Hope not. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, in my opinion, anyway, I think that, you know, like I love the support and I need the support. That's why, you know, I'm doing the Kickstarter, but equally and maybe even more important. And really just for to bring joy to my heart, I love to see just like a random person talking about the series or how it affected them, or, you know, like if they like it, or, you know, like just bringing it up even in passing. I think Amani could enter this arena with these people. You know, like I think that this story, The Diary of Sleepy, is, if you like that, then you should check this one out too, or like things like that.
No, yeah, definitely. And I wanted to talk about the like the animatic that you have for like Sweet Pea that you used for the like that you had in 24, but then you used it for like the promotion of the Kickstarter. What was the process like to create that?
Another shot in the dark. You know, like it's a weird thing about reality, that how possible things become once you start to believe that you can do a thing. And really, like, you can, I ain't gonna say exactly manifest, you can make a thing, you can make a thing possible by believing that it's possible. So that was one of those moments where I said, well, if I'm doing this, I mean, why can't I be able to do that? I start looking around, researching, and right now I have a challenge to get a book on sale inside of Japan somewhere.
Mm.
I only got to win. I only got to get one book, and it don't matter if it's so, you know, but I believe in people. I believe that the world's connected. I think that, you know, like there's somebody out there that has the same. I don't like, if it don't cost me nothing to help you, then why not? You know, there's people out there like that. So Mad Hundreds, Bryce. I don't want to say his last name because I don't want to say it wrong, but Mad Hundreds. He was somebody that I found, I believe, through social media, and, you know, he was building up his portfolio. He said that it was something that he could do. So he has a very unique art style. That style that he did the animation in is his signature style, and I think it worked beautifully. And then my old college roommate is on the track. You know, he's responsible for that. So that's royalty free music that I got to put on there and also promote his brand as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to say, when it comes to the goals for, you know, Alter Ego Arts and, you know, the Diary of Sweet Pea, what are some of the goals that you have? It could be long term, short term, whatever you want to share.
Well, for Alter Ego Arts, I think I want to do another mural. I don't know if you've seen those yet, but
Yeah, I've seen some of them. I think the recent one where I think it looked like it was like a tree in one of those like the
yeah.
shop areas before he
Mhm.
went back to the comics, and I think like one or two other ones.
Yeah, so that was a really fun project. Really important, like it was like a breakthrough moment because, you know, like I'm looking at this guy's giant. I gotta paint on bullshit, and if I mess him up, then I gotta move out of town. But, you know, like I'm really wrestling to bring this thing into existence, and it was a challenge, but you know, like I made it happen. So that was a great thing to do. As far as the comics, I have two other titles that I want to do side by side. So there's a hero and a villain sharing the universe, and then a group. You know, like the hero has his, you know, other allies and friends or whatever, maybe a super team, and then the villain has his team. There's two titles that share a world, but one's, you know, like PG and uplifting, the other one is more almost anti-hero, but still a villain, but relatable motives, but still, like at the end of the day, still a villain. So that's something that I'm interested in. I have graphic novel ideas, and all kinds of comic book ideas that I want to get into. But for the Diary of Sweetpea, we're on issue 3. I made 1. I wrote on the cover issue 104. 4, and that'll be the end of the introductory arc. I already have other arcs in mind.
Okay.
Like we see our character grow and go through these different phases. Everybody thinks that just because it's the main character, and he's like a protagonist, young lady, that she's the hero of the story. That may or may not be true. Some kids become YNs. So I mean, it ain't no telling because she's going through these things, but she also has like a strong foundation, and it's a battle between those two things, right?
Yeah.
There's actions to explore in there as well, like the Dragon Hunter clan, Himba from the results. They have an origin that goes back to before. They have an origin that goes back before Earth, but also on Earth before the beginning of this story. And the way the Diary of Sweetpea is framed is through the perspective of a single character. So there's other elements that come in and out of her life that we could also take time to explore to get like a view of the wider scope. I want a Mighty story to stay a Mighty story, but I also want to explore all of these other stories that wouldn't fit inside the same universe. Like one universe that, depending on how the fans feel about it, or how much my kids love keep, appearing in moments in the books.
Yeah.
I love the story, but I also love to get some other things out there with the time management that I do have to be able to set aside for this craft.
So it kind of sounds like, for how you're saying it, like it could almost create your own like multiverse, kind of like where like the different arcs, like after this one, like it ties into it, but it's not in the same area. It might be in a different area. That's kind of like the idea, I guess.
Absolutely. So so like, let's see, we have the different factions inside of there, right? People that can absorb that source energy are illuminated. That's one. Then you have FIDO, which is the Fighters in Defense of Humanity, which is this global military defense that was alerted to this invasion beforehand and are trying to do their best to fight against it. It's another group. You have the Bane, which is the invasion group that travel from dimension to dimension. You have the Thoas, who is the ancient enemies of the Bane that had conflict with them in the past that ended not in their favor, and now they're kind of like acting out a guerrilla war across dimensions against the Bane. So that's another group. Then you have purists and cultists and other things like that. So there's a lot to explore, even inside of like just Amani's immediate circle. Unaffiliated, there's other characters that also have stories that I think are well worth exploring. So I would love to go there, and I would love to do that. I just know how limited my time is to be able to, and to set aside for it. A good Kickstarter goes a long way to making things happen fast. But like I said, I have a lot of great ideas, like some really like deep and mature things. I want to do something for younger kids to enjoy. So everybody in that book thinking that they could have something to read to their they 5 or 6 year old, and then see cursing and blood and people getting angry. I want to make something to make it up to them.
Yeah.
So I feel like I owe them that, so I want to do that. And fuck that for my 5-year-old son to be able to enjoy too, you know, like so. Yeah.
No,
I
yeah.
do a lot, man. I really wish that I knew about all of this whole world when I was building the foundation of my life, because my life would be built off of the foundation of doing this, you know. And come what may, that's what I have. But now, you know, like I'm in my 40s, I can't just pull the curtain, pull the rug out underneath all of that. I gotta set aside time, make sure that I'm taking care of my responsibilities while also following my passion. And
Yeah.
hope that one day this passion can get my full attention.
Yeah, a lot of people are not bold, and I agree. Sometimes you're like, why did I know this information sooner? But like I tell people, it's like everybody's journey is different. Everybody gets to a certain point at a certain pace. So it's just like as long as you find that passion, that's all that matters, honestly.
It's people that landed in acting when they was 50 years old and become, you know, like big name actors and things like that. So I'm not counting anything out. I'm just, you know,
Yeah,
I just want to make sure that people know that I'm serious. I think that I'm a good investment. You know, like I think that not that I don't want to be like braggadocious or anything, but I feel like I'm really good at this. I feel like this is what that I'm meant to do. So I think like it's a safe investment. And the books that we have now are excellent. Buying them now gets you in early because, you know, like as we grow and as we get better, you are a part of that and you help to get to where we're going. And hopefully one day, you know, it's my goal to make these $10 and $15 purchases that you're making now be worth $200 or $300 or $1,000 because you have the Diary of Sweet Pea issue 1 when I was selling them out of my trunk.
yeah. No, yeah, I definitely agree, and I think you're going on the right track. Honestly, I mean, between the art and then the story and then the dedication that you have to it, I think you're good. Honestly,
Appreciate it.
yeah, of course, of course, definitely. And I actually wanted to go back to when you were talking about like for the covers for the Kickstarter. What inspired you to do the competition to see like which one would like make it as like like that you would use for like the Kickstarter?
It's just some fun fan interaction. Yusuf is like, he's like my brother. And, you know, like when his daughter was born, you know, I was celebrating, even though he's in Nigeria, but, you know, like I make sure I send him something to get her a gift on her birthday. You know, he knows, we know personal things about each other's lives. We check on each other outside of just work. You know, if I could find work for him to do outside of what I'm doing, if I got a lull and I'm moving too slow, you know, I'm talking him up, trying to get him on other projects because I want to see him, you know, do well. So he's like a little brother to me. And I keep telling him, you like, you nice, but you ain't better than me. Me that he's better than he is when it comes to this coloring thing. So, I mean, or at least, you know, he's more appealing. I still think was the best one, but you know, they picked his. So what am I going to do?
I mean, I think it does. I feel like it sparks like inspiration. Like, oh, let me just try the best I can because you know, like people are interested.
Yeah, next time I might open it up to the whole world and just whoever wanna color it, you know, help me beat Yusuf. That's gonna be the name of the competition. Help me beat this guy, and then we're gonna have a vote. Whoever gets it, you know, I'll pay you. Just help me beat the
That's that's hilarious. I mean, honestly, you know, that might be fun. Just let the public like almost like if you've heard like do it in your own style. A lot of like smaller artists does it for like their pages, so they'll be like, oh, I'm doing like a DTYS. Like here's a character, like just draw it in your own style. I could definitely see that, but like color in your own style, like color this in your own style. I could see that.
Oh yeah, that'd be dope, man. Because I know so many different like kinds of talent out there that'll just take something and just go beyond what the line art shows and suggest rather, and just turn it into something that I never even imagined. So I would love to see that, and I would love to see somebody else win. Besides 2 years in a row, he's won. We had 2 competitions, he won both of them. So maybe 4-4 is our last in this introductory arc to beat this guy. We got to take him down.
And I would say, how have you felt about like the response to Sweet Pea, just, you know, from the fans to people that have been on your podcast to people doing different spotlights? I've seen, like, you know, shout out to 615 Comics like a few years back, and just, you know, even the people that you met with in the industry, you know, they've given reviews when they've seen it. Like, how have you felt about the response over the years?
I love it. It's been largely positive. I had some negative, you know, like one negative review, but even that was like still a positive because it gives me an opportunity to figure out what I can do better and how I can grow and become stronger. You know, because I still have a lot to learn. So it's been great. The most impactful encounter has been at a small convention where a father came back up to me after he had purchased the book. He came back up and he thanked me for making, you know, the book like almost brought the tears. You know, he's a white guy with a biracial daughter. He's like, you know, like, bro, you really don't understand what this means for me. I'm like, no, trust me, I get it. You know, I understand where you're coming from because you're the same thing that you feel about your daughter is how I felt. You know, I feel looking back that, you know, like, again, that this is possible for her. You know, it's possible for, you know, like, not just younger people. I found this when I was well into my 30s. You know, it's people that find it later than that. But I just wanted to see the possibilities of what they can do. Like I said, don't read I never read the credits. You know, I watched the cartoons and they come up, but it never really clicked to me.
Yeah.
Were just regular people making something happen, and then they pop up on my TV. You know, writers and a huge team, but they just people like you and me, and you know, there's nothing wrong with allowing yourself to be great or be good at the things that you're good at, as long as you believe that it's possible. It's a possibility.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a very sweet interaction, you know, with the dad. I feel like that's just really wholesome because you feel like I can say, like, when those interactions happen, you're like, okay, this was already the goal, but I can see that it's starting to resonate with like the audience that I wanted to resonate with.
Yeah. Even at C2E2,
Mm-hmm.
when I was there for the Heroic Awards, I met Eddie Brown, EA Brown, and you know, he's like, yeah, I've seen your book, man. I really like your book, and you know, like, I want to talk about working together to, you know, like, maybe sending you, you know, like, some work to get some projects done. He was trying to get Death Blade off the ground, which we ended up doing and completing, which is a part of the reason why I had to break in between issue 2 and issue 3. I was busy working on that comic book and getting that off the ground. Death Blade from Skull Valley Comics. And you know, like, when he told me that he saw my book, I'm like, you sure you know what book is mine? Like, you're not thinking of another comic book? He actually knew, like, a guy that I didn't know had bought, read, and appreciated my work enough to want my help with bringing his work into fruition. It's like, wow, you know, like, something that I made actually getting out there and into the hands of people.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to ask, one of the last questions I'll ask is, how has this journey, you know, through alter ego arts, creating, you know, Sweet Pea comic and everything, how has it helped you as a person? Like, you know, whether it's learning new skills, you know, mentally, physically, how has it helped?
It's helped me with myself, my view of myself in ways. So, um, to stop typecasting myself, kind of. And I grew up for the most part back and forth from a couple of different places. Like I've lived in some really nice places. I've lived in some Dawson Street places. I've lived in, the heart of West Philly, Hilltop, on the Overbrook with certain streets you're not supposed to, you don't walk. you know, and like from high school on, and that kind of like set me inside of that. Philly is it's a lot of love inside of the city, but there's a lot of reasons to be on guard inside of the city too, right? So this creative self was kind of neglected. But now that I've done this and kind of like explored this, I'm trying to allow myself to be great, like to be good at something and to show like a level of intelligence and professionalism inside of what I choose to do. And it's always been like that with the product. I wanted to make sure that the book is the best possible book that I could make. But now, like when I'm writing, I'm not just writing from a standpoint of being inside of, like a typical box, like regular Philly dude or around, like people going to laugh at me if I tell them I got a story about a 14-year-old girl dealing with, like growing pains and things like that. I'm past that because I know that I'm making a great story, that's relatable and hopefully will cause people that look at it on a deeper level to actually stop and think and show some kind of empathy, even if, like, I'll give you a secret. My ultimate goal is that somebody read this and look more into the plight of youth inside of our community and the things that they see and things that they have to deal with. I think it's a lot of people dealing with some forms of PTSD from things that, like, see, I love my city and it's not all bad.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. But it is some things that people see out there that would scar an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so for a kid going through that's not able to really process those things, which is really what the story is about. How does that impact them, and how do we as a community address that and make some kind of improvements for them? Right?
Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I feel like that's a nice goal to have, where especially like within your like community, like if people see the story and they're like, there is hope, you know what I mean? Like there's hope, like there's hope, because sometimes when you live in certain areas, they're like, I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't do that. I understand, because where I live, where I grew up in, particularly as a Black person, it's gotten better in certain senses, but when it comes to creative, in terms of like what we're doing right now, or even if it's not like creative, like you want to be a scientist, you want to be a doctor, you want to be this, like, they think it's like white people like white people are gonna, and
yeah, and if not white people, then just not an option for me.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what kids would be if they knew that, marine biology is a possibility for you. Like you like the word, you can find a DNA strand in a chili pepper that's going to be used X, Y, and Z. Like all these things, like possibilities are endless, and the human mind is vast, but it can lock itself in a cage if you depending on outside stimuli. So yeah, man. And just let me just backtrack a little bit. Philadelphia is a great place. Visit Philly. you're not going to have, you're not going to have these problems. I was a kid that was by choice in the way, right? Coming from a good house, but like my cousins around the corner was into something else, so I was, into what they was into. So, it just like I saw that it's not necessarily the experience of everybody. There's a great creative community. Food is amazing, and like as long as you got a little bit, even a modicum of sense in you, you'll have a safe visit. But there is some things.
No, I understand.
I'm like, oh man, I ain't coming to that convention. Man. The Thomas guy said they going to pick my and on top, you snatch my bag out my hand. Great time. You come and visit Philly, you want to have a great time. Just don't be where you ain't supposed to be in.
No, I get that because I've been in Philly. I've been in Philly, but like the area where like Cherry Street Pier is and like those areas, and I've been like kind of like greater Philly. So like I understand what you mean. Like there's differences depending on which part you're in. So yeah.
Yeah. And even in the hood, it's like it's still love out there, Like there's people out there that'll do for you like nobody else, like sacrifice from themselves to really like help you. Like there's really strong communities in the heart of Philadelphia, heart of the most rundown hoods in Philly.
Yeah.
That's just not, well, in a way it is kind of a present inside of the story, and maybe I will explore more because it's not all doom and gloom.
Mm-hmm.
But it's some things that like there's some things that go on that these young people specifically are going through that I feel like needs to be have a light shine on it and be addressed.
No, yeah, definitely. And thank you so much for sharing about the story, what you do, and just in general. Hopefully you had a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just want to give you a chance to just plug in where you want people to follow you, catch up with everything, especially, with the Kickstarter coming up.
Yep. So the link is in all of my bios on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You look up Sweet Pea Comic or Alter Ego Arts. You're going to find it there. On Kickstarter, if you type in Sweet Pea, the diary is Sweet Pea 1 through 3 will be up there on Notify Me to launch. Launching March 25th, and we'll be doing early bird specials for the first 2 days. So make sure you at least be there in those first 2 days to check that out so you don't miss out on those deals. Got some really good deals where I'm not making anything off of it. And they're limited. Those are limited.
Yeah.
So, make sure you get in there and at least take a look at it. Check me out.
Yeah, I'm definitely putting like the ads for the Instagram. Definitely, like they said, check the link in bio. Definitely search it up for the Kickstarter. It's coming out in 2 days, guys. Like get on it. Like I'm telling you right now, get on it. I mean, if you're watching it back, I'm making emphasis. Please get on it. But I just want to thank you guys that joined into the stream. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the support as always. And for those that don't know what I do, hi, my name's Lizzie. My brand started out as AnimeInkArt. AnimeInkArt is my brand name. So I traditionally draw, but I digitally edit. That's how I started putting my artwork on clothes and different things. We started out with Redbubble. We have Shopify now. For example, like this. Like shirts like this, and I don't have my art wall right now, but sometimes I'll wear certain things that I still have in the house. So today I decided to do that. So we're trying to get back to that. So we have the Redbubble, Shopify. If you want commissions, the commission form is in the link in bio for AnimeInkArt 1. Also, but it's extended, obviously. Part of the mission statement is to support as many creators as possible while we do what we do. So that's kind of how the brand extended into that. That's how AnimeInkArt Live Talks came to be, which has been this will be the third year out of the this is going to be the fifth year that we've been doing AnimeInkArt. I've been known as AnimeInkArt in general. Also, we have started cosplaying as well to promote what we were doing, but we also do it as well. Shout out to people that have, highlighted us as well, have allowed us to be in their cosplay calendar. Shout out to Otaku Noir because we are affiliates with them. Their Noir mystery box just came out. For those that got it, definitely check it out. Use code AnimeInkArt to get free shipping off your order. Another box is coming in June for their Sirens box. Going to be some exciting stuff coming with that. So definitely get on that when the pre-order comes. Definitely, get your coin right. Support the box. Shout out to Blurs Unite. We were the grant recipient for their second in part of their opportunity grant. So definitely hope to work with them in the future. We also work for Critical Care Comics. They are a 501c3 organization that started in Las Vegas. Right now they have Las Vegas, South Carolina, and then us. Well, I'm in New Jersey, but New York chapter. And I'm one of the agents. So I don't dress up, but we have heroes that dress up in Marvel and DC characters. We currently go to Jacobi Hospital and we give comics and toys to the children in the hospital unit, specifically the emergency room department and the pediatric department. So we're currently, trying to get more people onto the team, get to do hospital visits and, normal events as well. So definitely, if you want to be part of Critical Care Comics, definitely go to their website or go to their Instagram where they'll have the link in bio. Learn about all the things they do. They have a scholarship fund for cancer patients. They do different events in the different areas. If you're within the areas that the chapters are in, if you want to, it's a simple process. And if you come to New York, you never know. I might be interviewing you, so it'll be a fun time. But I definitely want to thank you guys for always supporting. We'll have another show on the 29th, and we still have dates open for April, like end of April. And most of May, if you want to be on the show, so definitely reach out to me. We might do an open call soon, but just give me a little bit of time. The schedule is scheduling, so I'm definitely trying to get everything out the way before I do another open call. But I appreciate you guys, and with that, we're signing off, guys. Bye.